Hey there, welcome to the Uplift. We got a great show for you, great cast of characters as well, including a man caring for his ill wife who found peace by starting every day with a sunrise. Now he's found a way to bring those peaceful morning views to others. Also, a woman who discovered she had a tumor the day she gave birth. How she got her second chance at life thanks to a stranger. Also, a dad gone too soon, but his bond with his daughters is still strong. How he surprised them even after he passed. And a basketball player turned referee who overcame the odds to continue his career in the game. Also, a teen with a freezer full of turkeys and a Thanksgiving mission. What's the reason behind his turkey delivery service? We'll get into it. And of course, also our heartwarming videos, the ones you just gotta see. You know what you're watching. It's The Uplift. Hey there, welcome to The Uplift, the show that lifts you up for at least the next 30 minutes, you and me as well. I'm Tony DeCopel. We got a great show for you. There is nothing more stunning and peaceful than a sunrise, and a man in Florida found solace in the sunrise when he was going through a difficult time in his life. Now his morning ritual has turned into something much bigger. Here's CBS Miami's Lisa Petrillo with more.
For more than 40 years, Mark Potter was a Miami-based veteran of network TV news, an investigative journalist on the front lines.
I covered everything from, Pablo Escobar, the Colombian drug war, Mexican drug war, the border clashes.
In 2016, Mark was embarking on a well-earned retirement, but that wouldn't last long.
1 month after my retirement party, my wife and I got the catastrophic news that she had high-stage ovarian cancer. We went right into full-time cancer care.
Cancer care that lasted 3 years until his wife Judith passed away in 2019.
I was just a full-time caregiver. I gave up everything else. It was an honor to do it, but it took a toll on me too.
Judith saw it too.
And my wife Judith said, listen, if you're going to survive this in your attempt to help me survive, you need to get out of the house a little bit each day to get away from cancer.
And so Mark took on a daily pre-dawn hobby, capturing Florida's beautiful sunrises in photos and wildlife too. Soon, something happened he didn't expect.
When I started to post my photos just for something to do on Facebook and Instagram, I started getting a reaction from other people who said, wow, these photos help us. Can we have some more?
It fast became a symbiotic relationship between Mark and his Facebook friends, some he didn't even know, and they wanted more, asking him to publish an actual photo book.
I would say I ain't doing no foo-foo photo book. I'm a hard news guy. But then I grew up, I matured, and I realized, wait a minute, they're asking for something.
The result is this book just released called Sunrise, a photographic journey of comfort, healing, and inspiration.
For me too. My photos, which are upbeat and colorful, all started from tragedy. They started from tragedy, but they didn't end up that way miraculously.
This photo brings him peace.
And I see in that photo Judith and me together, flying past the sun.
How are you now?
I'm good. I mean, it's still, as you probably heard my voice, it's still an emotional topic. And this was a huge loss. But the response that I've gotten is also a cause for emotion on my part, but it's happy emotion.
Mark still goes out every morning waiting for the moments when darkness turns to light. He calls it magic time and says no one should miss it.
A Technicolor movie in the sky, and that's just magic. How does that happen? I can't fathom how anybody would want to sleep in and miss that.
A reason to get up early in the morning. All right, coming up, a woman who survived a car crash but lost her dog. How'd she turn that tragedy into a miracle? We'll tell you. Also, a mom who just after giving birth received devastating news. She had a tumor. We'll tell you how a stranger ended up giving her a second chance at life. Plus, our heartwarming videos, the ones you just gotta see. All that coming up next. Welcome back to The Uplift. We've got those heartwarming videos now, the ones you just need to see. We're going to start with this one from a teacher in Georgia. It shows two students who look like they're fighting, but they are only pretending to fight. As you can see, they got everyone's attention, students, teachers, also the principal. Mrs. Johnson came rushing in to see what was happening, but the fight was all a ruse to get her there so the school could sing her happy birthday. She immediately started to sing along and seemed to love the birthday surprise. Sure did. All right, our next video shows a couple of teens opening a gift from their sister-in-law. Katie Stone said that inside the box she hid a pregnancy reveal, which made her brother and sister-in-law just ecstatic. Come on, there it is. She said this is the first grandchild on that side of the family, and they had been waiting for a baby. They were overwhelmed with joy to find out that they were finally going to become auntie and uncle. Finally sinking in. Because of the pandemic, an aunt named Jen was not able to meet her nephew Finn when he was born. But she FaceTimed with him and her sister often, and 13 months later, when she could finally travel, Finn surprised her at the airport. She said she was overwhelmed with excitement, and it was clear that little Finn recognized her from all those FaceTime calls. Look at that. It means a lot to her. You can understand why. All right, our next story is about a brave girl in Missouri who helped her mother out in a very big way. Her mom, Viola Fair, went into labor 3 weeks early, and with no one else around, she asked her daughter to call 911, and the 10-year-old did exactly that. She stayed calm the whole time as a dispatcher coached her through the birth, and she was the first person to welcome her baby sister Jayla into the world. So what's this hero's name? Her name is Miracle. The North County Fire and Rescue Team wanted to award Miracle for her steadiness and bravery, so they gave her a certificate and a stork pin, which is given to EMS workers when they deliver babies in the field. All right, next up, when a brother brought home a new girlfriend, the family decided to pull a little bit of a prank. Sounds like mine.
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, I'm ready. Good meat, good Lord, let's eat. I'll start.
The spin is important. If you begin your meals with the Pledge of Allegiance, you got to spin there at the end for luck before you sit back down. New girlfriend seemed to take it in stride. I think she passed the test. If you want to see more heartwarming stories like these, you can visit our Facebook page. That's facebook.com/upliftnews. Coming up, the man who overcame the odds to become a basketball referee. Plus, how a dad kept a presence in his daughter's lives even after he passed away. A woman in California recently survived a devastating car crash with 3 of her dogs. The problem, she has 4 dogs, 1 missing. But what started as a tragedy turned into a miracle. CBS Sacramento's Adrian Moore has the story.
There was this truck with the high beams on, and I could not see anything. I don't know what I hit. So we slid across the ice and went down backwards and flipped and then rolled.
When Tina Milberger's car finally came to a stop, she was more than 100 feet down an embankment off State Route 32 in freezing temperatures, frantic for help.
It seemed like every time I looked up or moved my head in little seconds, I was shocked to be alive.
Alive, but trapped and dangling from her seatbelt.
As the car flipped and landed, I remember hearing a yelp.
That yip was Macho, her 40-pound Queensland Heeler mix, thrown from the car. But somehow, still nestled beside her, were Rachel, Tulip, and Freya Jean, her 3 other dogs, which she curled up underneath her coat to stay warm.
I was feeling so lonely and so distraught.
But then, a sign of hope, Tina could see flashlights over the ridge. Caltrans workers plowing snow had noticed car tracks leaving the road. That's when Tina started honking her horn.
I heard men's voices yelling, and And then all of a sudden it stopped and the light went away.
7 hours after crashing, rescue teams moved in using a rope to hoist Tina and her 3 dogs to safety.
Just humanity at its best.
That humanity on display with Shannon Kenyon, another Caltrans employee. After learning Macho was missing, he started making daily stops at the crash site looking for him. And after 3 days, Macho was rescued too.
For a miserable experience and a horrific accident, the ending is great.
A miracle on the mountain with an assist that Tina says can only be described as divine.
It was like a life of a week with no strangers in it. Everybody was there for love.
That's a lovely way to put it, a week with no strangers. All right, the New England Patriots recently hosted a football clinic at Gillette Stadium, but the attendees were learning how to play a different form of football, a form of football using wheelchairs. Here's CBS Boston's Paul Burton.
1, 2.
Break the huddle. On the ball.
Set, hot.
Run the play.
Go.
For these athletes, the game of football is not just about the X's and O's, but opportunity, teamwork, and overcoming barriers.
And the great thing is we got wheels.
On Sunday, the New England Patriots Foundation teamed up with Move United and Adaptive Sports New England to host a wheelchair football clinic. All of the players have some form of disability that makes it impossible to play the game using their legs. But that's not stopping any of them.
It's very special to me.
Especially 10-year-old Kellen Tilton. He was born with a cancerous tumor on his spine, which paralyzed him. You love football.
Yeah, a lot. I love the feeling when either you throw the perfect throw or the quarterback and you either catch it or the receiver runs down to the end zone. And it's the best feeling in the world for me.
The clinic was run by USA Wheelchair Football coaches.
And ultimately, we can put together a team and be competitive and play against the teams from other parts of the country.
Patriots cornerback Jalen Mills got in on the action.
It's inspiring, man, to know that, a single football, can connect, so many people together.
Derek Stewart of Brockton has been in a wheelchair since he was 17 years old.
And just to have the opportunity, to relive one of my dreams that I didn't get to do when I was a kid.
Right now, these players are just learning the fundamentals of wheelchair football. But for most of them, this is a lifelong dream of getting off the sidelines and being here on the field.
I'm just so happy that other people get to experience this too, and for some people that have a really hard time, but they make it accessible, and it's just amazing.
Emotional. He's wanted to play football his whole life, and so for him to be here today is pretty powerful.
They say football is a game of inches.
I actually would like to be a football player, professional football player.
It's also a game of character.
And now to another sports story. This one about a basketball player who decided to become a referee as a way to stay in the game, and he overcame the odds to do it. Here's CBS Los Angeles' Jill Painter-Lopez with his story.
Being deaf, it was tough. I worked with hearing people, and there was a lot of body language involved, communication struggles and difficulties, and when I was playing with a deaf team and a deaf coach, it was easy. We had the same language.
What is it about basketball that it does for you?
Every time I would watch it, I would pause the game, I would play, I would practice what they're doing. My favorite player is Michael Jordan, and he is amazing. He's just an amazing basketball player. It's just like music. I can't hear it, but it's kind of like music, and it's a beautiful art. And so I always pause the TV and then play the game, and that's how I would be better.
Why did you want to become an official?
I love basketball, so I just wanted to stay on the court until I am ready to retire. Then I'll go ahead and stop reffing.
Knowing that he is from a deaf community, which is awesome, we were able to bring him into our organization and train him correctly. And now he is part of the CIF organization in our community, and he's doing really well out here.
So if somebody were to come in and watch him, would they have any idea that he's deaf?
No. In basketball, you need to know how to effectively communicate and articulate the rules and regulation by hand signals, and he does a very good job by doing so.
Pre-game, I typically approach the coach and let them know that, hey, I am deaf. If you need anything, you want to call a timeout, I will. You can step on the court, get closer to me so I can see in that visual field. to call the timeout. But other than that, there are really no struggles, you know. It's really well.
And what's your experience been like with parents?
Most of the time, the parents are yelling, and I'm just going on with my day, and they don't realize I'm deaf, and then they say, hey, and they'll keep talking to me, and I say, oh, I'm deaf, and they said, oh, well, I was just wasting my breath.
What's your hope for your future?
Hopefully, I will be a deaf collegiate ref, and maybe I can become an NBA ref.
Coming up next, three sisters who lost their dad too soon, but he found a way to keep celebrating them even after he was gone. Also, a mom who got a second chance at life and then got a chance to reunite with the stranger who saved her. Plus, a teen who stuffed his freezer full of turkeys this Thanksgiving, turkeys to help others. Who's on the receiving end of those birds? We'll get into it. The day you give birth is supposed to be the best day of your life, but for Christine Chen, it was also a day of bad news. She had a tumor. Here's Carter Evans now with how she got a second chance at life thanks to a stranger.
It's a performance Christine Chen thought she may never give.
I remember feeling like, I don't know if I'm gonna make it.
On the day she gave birth in 2018, a nurse discovered a tumor masked by Christine's pregnancy.
So about 12 hours after my daughter was born, we found ourselves seeing an oncologist. Pretty wild.
But her chemotherapy led to something extremely rare.
So the treatment for your cancer
Right.
caused your leukemia.
Right.
She would need a stem cell transplant to survive, and a match within her own race would be ideal, but only 9% of donors on the nation's largest registry are Asian.
It was hard not to feel despair and sorrow.
In this case, Andrew was the perfect match, and we never looked back.
Her perfect match, Andrew Chen.
Hi. Hi, Andrew.
This is their first meeting since the procedure.
I just hope that you know that we always carry you with us.
Yeah, it really hits home. It's like, wow, it's one person in the family, mother of two.
And a concert violinist celebrating her second chance in a duet with her doctor.
Nice piece, Carter. All right, a teen in Pennsylvania recently realized he's going to need a bigger freezer. Why? Because his was filled with turkeys for other people. Here's CBS Pittsburgh's Kim Gable.
Over the past couple of years, Wesley Westerman has come to a realization. He's going to need a bigger freezer. The Highlands High School junior single-handedly started a turkey drive back in 2018 when he was just 13 years old. Now, with the help of 2 motorcycle clubs, the VFW, and his family,
we are busy, yes.
It's grown into an impressive mission to show appreciation to local veterans.
Hey, what's up, brother?
It's something that they don't get a lot. Like, they don't get the recognition that they need for helping us out and giving us, like, the freedom that we have nowadays.
As a mom with a teenager who has this in his heart, how does that make you feel?
It makes me feel proud. I didn't think he was going to do it anymore, but I said, do you want to do the turkeys? And he's like, yes, we have to do the turkeys.
Over 200 turkeys this year, along with all the fixins, too.
When these local veterans find out that a 17-year-old young leader in their community is doing these incredible things, what kind of reaction do you get?
They're just astonished. I mean, they don't understand that the young people, they do want to help. We just don't know how. I mean, there's a lot of people out there that need it.
And now some of the vets themselves are paying it forward, helping fellow heroes who served.
A couple people I went to school with, I hang out with, veterans and everything else like that. Well, last year he was hurting real bad. He got hurt at work and everything. And I told him about it, so I ended up getting one for them and taking it over to his house. It's really nice. And then I probably got 1 or 2 other people, so yeah.
So you're spreading the word too?
Oh yeah, always, always.
I just want it to keep going. I want other people within the community to start realizing that we need to get this bigger and start expanding. I mean, PA is a big state. I mean, we could definitely help out a lot of veterans.
I love it, man. You help us out a lot.
And a big advantage when it comes to delivery time? Wes has his driver's license this year.
Well done. All right, our next story is about a powerful bond between a dad and his daughters. Here's David Begnaud with their story.
Gregory Holmes was a veteran, a church deacon,
and above all, a dad to 3 daughters.
He had affectionate names for each of them.
Nichelle was his little lady. Nia he called baby doll. And Nicole, she was big stuff. Holmes taught them to work hard and be smart. And being smart meant buying their first home. Nichelle did just that. And the mail soon brought a letter from Daddy.
Congratulations, little lady. You're now the queen of your castle. Congratulations on home ownership. I'm so proud of you. Love, Daddy.
When Nia bought a home, she too got the letter, addressed to baby doll and signed Daddy. Then it was Nicole's turn.
Nicole closes on her home. Nicole didn't get a letter.
You see, Gregory Holmes died last year in a motorcycle accident. It left a void in Nicole's home and in her heart. Until just a few weeks ago when her mom, Teresa, was going through some papers. And there it was.
And I'm blown away. I'm crying. It was a letter to Nicole.
Turns out Daddy hadn't forgotten about her. You might say he's watching over her. As the deacon preached many times, love never dies. David Begnaud, CBS News, New York.
That's our David Begnaud, and that is our show. I hope it brightened your day and lifted you up. I'm confident it did. If it didn't, reruns are free. I'm going to go find some good news.